Hello, welcome. If this is your first time on the Arhtym channel, welcome. On this channel, we appreciate good content. Now, yesterday, the live stream happened for the anniversary of Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, everyone's favorite video game. Now, this live stream was held at 4 a.m. for me, and because it was, I'm going to complain about the things that I didn't like. Now, we got the two units, if you don't know, for anniversary are going to be red Black Flash Yuji, and I'm just going to let it kind of play in the background. This is the showcase for each of the unit. It was red Black Flash Yuji and a green Toto. Now, for me, and I think for most players, we have the same sentiment. I don't understand why this was the anniversary choice. I understand that the units themselves look hype animation wise, but I do not understand why we have another red Black Flash Yuji when the current one of the best red taijutsu DPS in the game is red Yuji, who, I mean, no offense to the Itadori fans, but Itadori really is just a punch kick guy. He doesn't really have that much to do. And then doubling up on a color that he's already the best on just makes no sense to me personally. There was plenty of colors they could have went. They could have went with blue. Blue Yuji is not a DPS, he's a support. If they're going to double up on Yuji, you could have easily very well doubled up on the blue Yuji. He has a completely different use case. This Yuji would make sense. He's a DPS, the other one's more of a support. He's a tank. He's not really a DPS like this one, right? So instead, right, they have this red Yuji, which is replacing red Yuji, who is the same damage type, who is the same color, who does almost the same thing. Now, not almost the same thing, right? This Yuji, as you can see, he has defense, he has buffs, right? Which, by the way, can we just talk about this while this plays in the background? This infuriated me to no end at 4 a.m. Toto works with the unit behind him getting the buffs, but this Yuji, they put him behind the Yuji in the front, and yes, he's getting the buffs, right? He's getting the buffs, but it's because if in all the characters where a thing is behind a thing, if you're at the back, it cycles around to the front. So yes, it works in this scenario, but it makes me think that maybe Yuji only buffs allies behind him, and that's why they put him behind him. But I don't know. But the new mechanic for this Yuji is the style change. Right? Yes, he has this style change they're going to show. So yes, he has 6 moves compared to a normal character, right? But does that really make him anniversary worthy? Like, when you really break it down, yes, he has 6 animations. Yes, they're very cool. But how much does this really shift up day-to-day gameplay? The meta is still red Yuji at the top for all red content. Like, you're using red content, you're using red Yuji. This doesn't really move your box anywhere. Like, if you summon, he's just going to replace red Yuji. And it's like, it's to a certain point where this character is releasing, and I just want to just use the sweep reset for cubes on my red Yuji, which I foolishly invested in, I guess, and just give them to this character because they have the exact same role, except this one's just better. And I can see you sitting there and you're thinking, oh, well, last time they doubled up colors, Green Gojo is basically the same unit as the, like, Crack Joe. And I say to you, no, it's not. They repeated these characters before, and they work in completely different settings. Green Yuji does not, Green Gojo, I'm sorry, the anniversary one doesn't have a turn limit. He works completely different than the old Green Gojo, but it leaves the Green Gojo intact. He still has a place in the game. You can still low clear with him. You can still nuke floors with him. If you get him as a low content player, it's very hard to live multiple turns if you have bad characters. So if you can invest in someone like a Green Gojo, a strong nuker, you can clear content faster. And yes, that makes him a limited purpose, but he still has a purpose when compared to the new Gojo. You're building your box up. You still have a purpose of that old Yuji, and this red Yuji is the same damage type, same color, same ult building, and he just functions as a replacement of the red Yuji. There are plenty of other Yuji's colors that they could have picked that this wouldn't be the case. Like I said, if they picked blue, then it would be completely different. It would be a different story. It would be, now we have a support Yuji and now we have another Yuji. They could have picked green and you don't have to play a roulette wheel every time you open a stage. You would just have a solid green Jujutsu DPS, or not Taijutsu DPS, right? And then they made Todo, right? And the whole gimmick of Todo and Yuji together is that they are together, right? You have Black Flash Yuji, you have Todo. Throughout the story, it's always them working together. You know, my brother, my best friend type shit, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that he is a different color than Yuji infuriates me to no end, because the power fantasy is running these characters together. And I know you're sitting there once again and you're saying, well, they're doubling up on colors. Why can't we have, like, they can't make him red and him red? Well, then change the color. Like, just change the color. If you're gonna, like, or just plan better, or SP buff Red Todo. And yes, there's part 2 of Anniversary coming. He could get SP buffed, but that would encroach everything we wanted for Red Todo. Is we wanted Black Flash buffs, we wanted crit chance buffs for the best friend status. And the best friend status with crit enhancement and Black Flash buffs is this Todo. He's just Red Todo, but what we always wanted from Red Todo. He's just enhanced Red Todo, which brings me to my same point about the red Yuji. It's just enhanced red Yuji. It's not like green Gojo to Hojo. It's just better in every way than the other character, and it just makes you feel silly to summon for these. And the thing is, it's like, I'm not sitting here and I'm saying this character is bad, this character isn't going to be relevant. No, they're anniversary characters. You're going to have to summon no matter what. These characters are going to be the best in the game. They are going to be very, very good. I can just see, looking at the little things that he does in the showcase, that he's going to be insane. They're going to be crazy characters. But it's just, when you're forcing players to summon for units that you're going to balance future content around, which, believe me, they will. They're not dumb. They know how to make money. It's a gacha game. At least have the respect to have your players summoning for something that really shakes up the way that they play the game. Like, when first Anniversary came out, I, as a player, was really excited. I was so excited for first Anniversary to come to Global. The units were like no other that we had. Red Gojo was so cool. He worked on every team. And he was crazy. The power fantasy was there. I felt powerful as a player using Red Gojo. I mean, I wanted Domain Gojo. I was like, I need him to come out. He's so cool. He gaps everything we've had in the game. His animations are awesome. He's so cool. And I just don't feel the same way towards these characters. And it's because they don't feel like Anniversary to me. Like, I don't see where the Anniversary part of this entire event is, really. Like, if you look here at the timeline of what we're getting, let me pause this. You can see, like, okay, we're getting a gacha rerun, right? Not a rerun, but we're getting an update, a standard update. We're getting a new chapter of the story. We're getting the story event, which we don't know. It could be very Anniversary based. We're getting another paid gacha, because of course we're getting the Cube Exchange Store, another event marathon. And if you look at the parallels, right, it's very similar to what the quality of lives that we got last Anniversary. It's very, very similar. But the stark difference is that it was expressly an Anniversary event. Domain Gojo was from the past. They went back all the way through the story and they made a special character that felt like Anniversary. And I know Zone Yuji was the logical progression of the original story finishing. So there is still a very large possibility that next week we get the equivalent of the main Gojo, a very powerful, a very cool character, but it's very obvious to all of us that it's going to be Red Mahito. And to me, that doesn't feel like an Anniversary. Where are the suit skins? Where are the dress skins? Where are the special rec bits that come on the banner? Like, they have the same they have the same banner release date, but it's 2 different banners and they have the same rec bit on them. It cannot, I don't know overhead at this company, of course, but I do not understand why they have the same rec bit on the banner. If they're going to have the same rec bit on the banner and it's inherently lower summoning value because the characters still have the same rarity on both banners, it's inherently less summoning value to go for both of the characters because they have the same rec bit on both banners. If you're going to split them up and charge people more money, which is essentially what you're doing, at least give them the decency to put the full value of a character. You're summoning for a character, you're summoning for a rec bit. Now you're just going to have double the chance of getting the same freaking rec bit. When you summon, you get an average of 20 rec bits anyway, so now you're going to be summoning twice and you're going to get 40 rec bits. Like, I don't know overhead at this company, right? I don't know the statistics, I don't claim to know the maths, but it cannot be that much overhead to just make 2 rec bits. And I'm sure you're sitting here saying to me, Arhtym, well, the free-to-play players, no, I don't want to hear about the free-to-play players, okay? If you're free-to-play and you're spending your gems on these banners, you want full value. You want full value. And if you summon on one and you summon on the other, you're getting half value because you're not going to be able to exchange out your tickets. You're not going to be able to exchange out for the rec bit if you summon 60-60. The pity exchange isn't the same. You're summoning for basically half of a rec bit because they're on both banners. And it's insane to me because I don't see where this is anniversary. Like, I really don't. We're getting the changes to the game that make it look like an anniversary, but where it doesn't feel like anniversary. When you look inside, it doesn't feel special. Where are the suit skins? Where are the special frames? Where are anything else we're getting? And it's like, okay, we're getting the Maharaga battle. That's probably going to be cool, but that just feels like a Shibuya festival. It just feels like a Shibuya festival. And it's like, okay, if you want to make Shibuya festival, that's fine by me. But that's not anniversary. That's not anniversary. Just make a new event. Make it Shibuya festival or something like half anniversary is, because anniversary should be a special occasion where you celebrate everything about the game. You give people things that they wouldn't normally get. You give them special skins. You give them special units that feel special. And this just feels like another story update with characters that we would have gotten anyway. Like, this doesn't feel like something that is special. This is something we would have got anyway. They were going to go through the story. They were going to make these characters anyway. And yes, I guess it's on anniversary, so they're probably a little bit better than if they were standard. But these are premium characters, and all they feel like is a slight upgrade to what we already have in the game. And it, to me, that's not worth it. That's disappointing. That's disappointing. I woke up at 4 a.m. I expected something special. I expected one of the things we need. We still, yellow Jujutsu DPS is terrible. Like, we have Teen Gojo. That's it. He's like almost a year and a half old at this point. And that's insane to me. Like, replace him. We could have got Maharaga. Maharaga could have got a special mechanic that was very uniquely different. Like, can you imagine? Because if Maharaga isn't end of year, if Maharaga isn't second part, do you ever see Maharaga being a standard character? No, because he's so special. That's what anniversary is for, right? And I urge you to look at last half anniversary. We got Teen Shoko, we got Teen Nanami, and we got another special Green Gojo. That felt so different. I was excited again, like I was excited for Domain Gojo, because Teen Nanami didn't even exist. They created a whole new character I didn't even know I was hyped for. They created a whole new thing that we never had in the game, and I was like, this is insane. Teen Nanami, he didn't do anything except be depressed in a locker room. I want to play with Teen Nanami. What does he do? That's so cool. And Teen Shoko, what does Shoko do? She doesn't do anything except not stop Geto when he's running away, and that's awesome. I want to play with that as a character. And then we had Gojo, and he introduced almost like a transformation mechanic. And he was, very, like I said, very starkly different to the Green Gojo we had already. He did not feel like a premium upgrade to what was already in the game. And I just think that this is disappointing the way it is. And I don't like this. I don't stand for this. And I'm going to use my channel to say that this is lame. I don't support this. I really don't. And I mean, it is what it is. This is just our anniversary now, and I'm sure part 3 is going to be Mahito, or not part 2. I mean, not part 3, part 2 is going to be Mahito, but that just feels, again, like a logical progression of the story. This is just any other update. It just feels like any other update. It doesn't feel like an anniversary. It's not special. And if part 2 isn't Mahito, which, I mean, it's going to be Mahito. We all know it's going to be Mahito. Then maybe my opinion will change. I will say this is actually hype. I'm excited again, but it's gonna be Mahito. We all know it's gonna be Mahito, and my opinion is that that sucks. This just feels like another story update where they're charging premium prices for what is essentially a premium upgrade to things we already had in the game, and the power fantasy isn't even there because you can't even run the duo. Like, they're dual rec bits, they're dual banners. You can't even run them together. The bells in the Gion Monastery ring. They're together. They're together. Toto and Yuji are a duo, and you can't even run them together in higher content because green, take him on green. Yuji is just a DPS. He's just another DPS. You take him on a green floor to play with Toto, he dies instantly, and he doesn't do any damage. And you take green Toto, who is a support, he has potential, onto hard sweep, which is like the playable content in the game, he's gonna die instantly. And even if he doesn't die instantly, he's not going to be really contributing any damage unless he had some insane off-type mechanic. And on higher tower, I don't know if you guys are there yet, but 81 past, you can't even equip characters that are not of stage advantage. So where are you living out this power fantasy? Right? And that's just disappointing to me. Like, the fantasy is together, you can't run them together, and the units themselves and their kits, as so far as we've seen, I'm sure Yuji is going to have pages upon pages of passives, and I'm sure he's going to be crazy, but the gameplay, when you break it down, is just kind of the same. He's going to be red, he's going to be taijutsu, you're going to run him with the same buffers, and they're both just DPS. Now I'm sure it's going to be like yellow Yuji, where they just don't release any characters that are of that color, so that he just has no competition and he remains valuable. But that's not really a reason to be like, this character is hype. This just feels like another story update. It doesn't feel like anniversary. And I'm just disappointed. And that's all I really have to say. I mean, hopefully end of year brings it back around. Hopefully we get... Oh, yeah. Imagine if we got end of year Yuki and Kenjaku. One can only dream. If Kusakabe can get a unit for fighting 3 bums and then getting rolled by Sukuna and running away and hiding, you can get a unit for actually contributing. So I don't want to hear no coping. But yeah, that's all I had to say. But I don't want to take away from my original point. That was just a joke. I don't actually expect Yuki to get anything. I don't want her for anniversary. And yeah, so that's all I had to say. I'm upset.